What's up, everybody? Welcome to Billy Reacts and to Fire Up the Mics. Got to make sure I know what I'm doing here. We are going to review a person talking about minor attracted persons. She has it broken up into introduction, treatment barriers, treatment goals, treatment actions, future treatment directions, and a summary. It's an 11 total minute video. We'll see if we get all the way through it. Watch it with me. Listen to my thoughts. Try to understand my thoughts. And that's my only qualifier. When you hear me give my thoughts, try to understand what I mean. I know a lot of people like to pop off at the mouth and say a bunch of stuff. You already have your thoughts based on this, as do I. So keep this in mind. I'm responsible for what I say, not for what you hear. And let's check this out.
Possible therapeutic goals and future implications on interventions. So first, a bit of an introduction. Firstly, it's important for counsellors and therapists to become more familiar with the treatment needs and services related to people with paedophilic interests. This could therefore enhance the competence to provide ethical, compassionate and effective counselling or therapy.
Okay, so introduction here. She is saying that professionals need to be more open, more willing to help. Okay, I'm not against that.
This is especially important considering the stigmatized and how it's a hard to reach population. So what do we know about paedophilia and paedophilic disorder in relation to diagnostic criteria? So DSM-5 has categorized paraphilia and paedophilic disorders into two different subcategories. So paraphilia is related to intense and sexual interest. However, paraphilic disorders requires distress or impairment to the specific individual or harm or risk of harm to others. So therefore, individuals may have a sexual interest but may not feel distressed by this, or there may not be a risk to harm, and therefore this wouldn't be classified as a paraphilic disorder. Therefore, paedophilia would relate to attraction to prepubescent children, typically around 13, whereas paedophilic disorder requires a pattern of recurrent fantasies, urges or behaviors that persist at least over 6 months, and this would cause...
So you have to have thoughts of little kids for at least 6 months to be considered a pedophile. I'm not too familiar with paraphilia, but it sounds like they have the same affliction, as she calls it, but do not act on it, so they're not stressed out by it, they're not worried about it. Okay, I guess. That's interesting.
Cause distress or interpersonal difficulty. So now let's think of barriers to treatment, and from now on I'm going to refer to individuals as minority attracted persons, or MAPS for short. So researchers have found that stigma towards minor attraction can lead to avoidance of help seeking and therefore increase the risk of subsequent child abuse. While some MAPS report a willingness to seek therapy, less than half of these individuals actually found the experience helpful. Non-offending MAPS suggests that there are common themes such as self-loathing, cognitive dissonance, which is often contributed to enormous shame and despondence at the realization that they are suffering from affliction that has no resolution.
All right, so there's a stigma around pedophiles, around MAPS, as she says. You know, we looked this up the other day. Stigma is a negative connotation on something. Well, these people are attracted to little kids. That's negative. That's not an okay thing. So there should be a stigma. It's not right. Now, the affliction. Okay. Treatment barriers. I'll put it to you like this. I think that people who are gay, people who are pedophiles, I think you're born that way. I think it's hardwired into your genetic makeup. I think you have no choice. Now, I'm going to say this now as I go throughout this video. My one and only issue with this video, because I've seen a bunch of these already, trying to justify being a pedophile as an affliction. I'll put it to you like this. I believe you're born that way, same as someone who is gay. We don't call someone who's gay, they don't have an affliction. We're not trying to treat them to fix them. They are attracted to the same sex. Same as a pedophile is attracted to children. There's one giant difference between the two. A child is innocent. They do not have the wherewithal to make decisions. They do not understand that an adult is manipulative, will lie. Again, kids are innocent in mind. They don't really understand life. The problem with this is they're trying to justify kids and adults because they're trying to justify an 8-year-old can go get a sex change. So they're saying an 8-year-old can choose to be in a relationship with an adult. That's what this is about. I'm not going to get intense about it. This stuff bothers me big time. I'm going to keep going, but I don't even want to finish this video because there's nothing you can say that can justify an adult wanting a relationship with a little kid. I will say this, to those who go and seek treatment, who are non-offending, as they say, I look at it as being someone who's transgender, who feels they're trapped in a wrong body. They didn't ask for this. They didn't wake up one day and said, I'm going to like little kids. They know it's wrong, so they try to seek help. The people who they're coming to seek help from have a stigma about it, as should they. It's not an okay thing. It is not the norm. It is not mainstream. The left, politically, are trying to make it mainstream by saying if an 8-year-old can choose to have a sex operation, an 8-year-old can choose to be with an adult in a relationship. That is what this is about, okay? Again, I'm going to repeat it 2 or 3 times. That is what this is about. For the ones who are trying to seek help, who know this is wrong, who haven't offended, I couldn't imagine being attracted to a little kid, knowing everything about that is wrong. I am not justifying your actions if you choose to cross the line. There's nothing to say. There's nothing okay with that. Children are innocent. They don't know any better. At that point, you become a predator, in my opinion, because you know it's wrong. And you can't say you don't know it's wrong because society has set that standard. You are not allowed to have a relationship with a child. People get in trouble for 19 years old dating a 17-year-old, statutory rape. And they're worrying about minorly attracted persons to a prepubescent child and an adult. This is about making your kids at 8 years old decide what sex they want to be. They can decide if they want to have sex with a 35-year-old person. That's what this is about.
Therefore, suicidal thinking is extremely common, and a suicide attempt has been reported to be seen in at least 1/4 to 1/3 of this specific population. Part of the stigma that is related to society is due to the skepticism that pedophilia is a mental illness and minor attraction is a specific choice. Therefore, negative societal narratives are internalized by these individuals, which infuses psychologically damaging beliefs, which then deters individuals from seeking help as well as influencing their self-identity negatively.
Listen, again, if you are someone who believes that people choose this, they choose this type of ridicule, this type of public shame, so to speak, that's your opinion. Again, I sit here with Steve. He's a Christian. He believes that you choose to be gay, that you're not born gay. He believes it's something you choose to do. He'll hear this and either correct it or not correct it. But we had that conversation enough to know you're choosing to live a life of sexual sin, is what he'll say. These people, in my opinion, do not have a choice.